We are here to do this week's forecasting, but before I dive into that, I just want to say, oh my God, what we are doing right now is incredible. It's fan-freaking-tastic. I would say this week, we're going to, like years down the road, we're going to look back and we're going to see this week. We're going to look at this week and we're going to go, it's right there. That's that fulcrum point. We tipped over some sort of fulcrum point, miracle, existential point that happened this week on planet Earth. And it feels different. It feels like things are going to begin to roll in a whole new way that we've never seen on the planet before. And I have this feeling of like, it's what I tell clients. It's like, you do the energy work first in your body. You do the emotional work first in your body. And with the money stuff, at that transaction point, you do your energy work there and your emotional work there. And then physically, it lines up. And that's what this feels like. So I'm going to be doing a pendulum video. Yes, I'm going to be doing that very soon. And I'm going to be talking about the dynamics on the planet. And I'm also going to be doing a video about timeline stuff. We got to get back into that. So those are all on the radar. But just for today, I wanted to just celebrate with all of you a little bit and go, oh my God, in the middle of all the horrid headlines and all the craziness going on, we have something to celebrate right now. This is like headline, we are doing it on planet Earth, and things are going to start moving in some very interesting directions, especially over the next 2 years. So let's dive into the forecasting, taking a look a little bit back at last week and then pan into next week and really zero in on some things. There's some very important stuff I want to show you guys. So I'm going to show you the forecasting pages real quick, and then I'm going to pop up and show you the financial cards for this week. So this is the week that we're in right now, and we are right here, Friday, February the 28th. Can you believe it? We are in that new moon window. And then if we pan back, this was last week, all of those energy gateways, all of that really heavy duty coding. Again, this week. And this is the week that we are going to be headed into. But first, Spirit Team wants me to visit with you guys about the Somatic Money Oracle deck cards, your inner personal finance somatics that are going to be going on. And just a real quick shout out, I've just got one deck left in stock. The new cards, my box of new cards, I've got new decks showing up. They were in Salt Lake City last night, so they should be here today and or tomorrow. So I'm going to have plenty of cards for you guys. And this is my first edition deck, and I think I've got about 12 to 15 cards of these left. This is a little bit less pricey because it's the first edition, and there's some anomalies in it. You can go onto my website and read about it. This is my second edition deck, which is all up to snuff. This one's $79. This one is $59. You can go to my website and read up on it. So what is going on with interpersonal finance? And I want to be really clear. These cards that I pulled are for this week, the week of March the 3rd, 2025. Okay, so these cards right here, the first card that I pulled was this one. And I got to tell you, folks, when I pulled this card, like I turned it over and it literally went boom at me. So this tells me that whatever is going on for our first week in March, we're going to be doing a lot of emotional processing with our finances. And you're going to see this card here. It says the 4 sacred money elements. Well, through my research and experience working with clients, I learned that there's 4 areas of energetics in the body with money, and that's masculine money, that's your structure logic; feminine money, that's your intuition flow; money value; and money empowerment. So those 4 sacred elements, we are going to be financially processing with those. And I believe very much that this card is very connected to this movement of Venus retrograding into Aries. Venus and money, she is about our inner partnership agreement and exchange with money, and this whole thing going on with reviewing through Aries. This is it's going to be a really big, different financial, emotional processing event for us. And not for nothing, but the North Node quincunxing Lilith, that's going to be a whole other thing to be doing inner financial, energetic and emotional processing with money as well. Now, this directly connects into financial exchanges. Now, in somatic money, what I have found, the core root of money is whatever is going on with our partnerships, our agreements, and our exchanges. That is what determines the type of financial life that we have. Well, if you notice, what card got pulled? Was it partnership or agreement? No, it was exchanges. So you are looking at doing financial, emotional processing at your financial exchange space. And that is that Venus retrograding in Aries and the North Node quincunxing Lilith. I tell you, we'll get to Mercury in a minute. So these two cards, to me, this is almost kind of like somatic, financial, psychic surgery a little bit. These are very focused cards, all right? Then the third card, this is kind of like cautionary tale. This card is saying, how present are you in your body? Are you ghosting your money? Or are you fully present in your body with your money? I believe this card is saying, cautionary tale, we need for you to show up present, like don't ghost it, show up present at your financial exchange space, doing your emotional processing. Now, I can kind of feel some of you going, ouch, Dana, that's vulnerable, that's scary, oh my God, I don't know how to do that. And that is where I will tell you, do not run away from this. It's totally okay to feel uncomfortable, vulnerable, but that's where the magic begins, is when you turn around and begin to get present and take stock of these things. You know, one of the first things I will tell you is go to my website, www.somaticmoney.com, start with the 4 pro tips. Those are free. And then the next thing I'll tell you to do is go to my blueprint number 2 and begin working on the Are You Present in Your Body with Your Money information. So very important stuff. And I really strongly believe it is very connected to this Venus beginning to retrograde in Aries. This is a very, very powerful movement there. Okay. So we are right here. And I just want to give a shout out. The video that I did talking about the mothership will really give you the play-by-play for me, what happened from Saturday, Sunday, all the way through this week. I am not going to rehash this. If you want to know, go look at my forecasting video from last week and then watch the mothership video. And even furthermore, go read down through the comments in TikTok and also YouTube, because community's got some great shares to give you an idea of what everybody experienced during this window of time. Really, really powerful. And see this mark? I made that little mark back before on this forecasting, and that was when this all happened. It kicked off on Wednesday. So just consider, from Wednesday on, we're in a new landscape. We are totally in a new landscape. Now, I do want to give a shout out. We're kind of doing, starting here today, we're kind of doing a little bit of timeline jumpy stuff here headed into the weekend. And I talked about this one thing right here in the forecasting. Really important to know what's going on here with potential confusion stuff. And we've got the new moon going on. Now, then the other thing I want to show you, once Mars went direct, we've had a full week of all planets moving forward, which is pretty kind of wonderful. And then we've got Venus beginning to go retrograde here on Monday. The other thing I want to point out is right now, the planets are stacked up beautifully. They're stacked up in the night sky. They're stacked up in the charts. It is just, the planets are so beautiful. It is a sight to behold. You can feel it in the air. It is quite wonderful. I know that is part of the miraculous change that we've got going on. Schumann's did a miraculous thing. We've got the new moon. The planets are stacked up. There is some really amazing stuff going on that is conspiring with us right now, people, in really, really wonderful ways. Okay, so then we're going to get through like a leaping off kind of confusing weekend. We're going to move through that. And then I just want you to be aware, boom, we head into a very powerful week. This is a sea change. This is a big change up right here. And the first part of the change up is we've got Venus retrograding into Aries, as Mercury is moving into Aries, as the North Node conjunct Neptune is beginning to switch up into the North Node quincunx Lilith, with a zinger on the end of this week, Sun trining Mars. This is all very important right now. So I've given the highlights on the astrology, and I will get back to the meaning in just a moment. But Spirit Team wants me to show you what these blue lines and green lines are again. If you are brand new, you can read the text here that I've put up that the vertical blue lines are the timeline jumps and the vertical green lines are the energy gateways. Now, for the first time ever, you can see I've got dashes going on, right? And you're like, what's going on here? And then I've got percentages, 10%, 40, 90%. This is the first time I've done this. For the first time ever, when I was pendulum checking for timeline jumps and energy gateways, I could tell that my pendulum, like you could feel a timeline jump coming in here, and literally my pendulum was and then we hit about 40% on the pendulum, and then it was like 90%. This did not get to a full 100% timeline jump, but it's pretty strong. So it cycled through and it stopped, and then right where that leaves off, we've got, I began getting a this is an energy gateway. This is new coding. This is new energies lining up. It bulked out at 100% on Saturday, but at the same time, that is overlapping a new timeline. So you can kind of see these are like waves happening. These are like cycles happening. And I don't know, maybe because of the changes that happened before in my sensitivity levels, I can now begin to pick up not just on a yes or a no for a timeline or energy gateway. I could actually begin to pick up on this is the gradual changing of how these things roll through. Let's talk about meanings of astrology on this. And Spirit Team is saying to me, they're saying, I do need to give a shout out and say, I am doing this for the collective. You in your own life, you need to find out, Venus in Aries, you need to find out what house that is for you. Mercury in Aries, you need to find out what house that is for you, because that's going to give you a little bit more flavor of the month on this. All right, so let me pull out my grid, my cheat sheet here. I'm going to let you see what I'm reading off of. So Venus retrograde in Aries. Your entire view of love, pleasure, and I add in self-value, value, and relationships will be skewed. So you need to be careful about how you're viewing love, relationships, pleasure, value, and are you standing on solid ground with that? Because Venus is reviewing in Aries. This is also about you reviewing your confidence, enthusiasm, and beginnings of relationships, pleasure, love, value, and self-value. So you may not feel very solid about relationships, self-value, value, love, pleasure, all these kinds of things that are connected into Venus. And what does that sound connected to? This is about how are you emotionally processing. And for whatever reason, Spirit is saying again, check your house. Check your houses, because that is really going to help you dial in what this all means in your life. Okay, so then let's take a look at Mercury into Aries. Mercury into Aries is checking on your communication style that potentially could be more direct, impulsive, assertive, outspoken. This could also be connected in with what's going on with your strategy, your logistics, your logic. Mercury headed into Aries. If you are soft-spoken, if you're not outspoken, this is going to be a great time to use this energy to help you move forward with your communication. But if you're pretty good with your communication, you're going to have to be careful with Mercury in Aries, making sure you're connecting this up with your heart chakra and making sure your communication is balanced. Now, sure, there may be some situations going on where you're like, damn, you definitely need to be direct or impulsive or assertive with being outspoken. That can work in your favor, but this could also land you into some arguments and difficult spaces, and you just need to be very aware of it. And again, Spirit Team is saying, make sure you check your house, because that's going to be the focal point. Okay, and then we've got a very big sea change here with the North Node quincunxing Lilith. And remember, the North Node has been conjuncting Neptune, and yes, there's about 3 more days of that but the attention is going to shift to that North Node quincunxing Lilith. The North Node in Pisces is about that whole destiny, soul alignment in kind of that watery, underwater place. It's about creativity, intuition. To me, it's also about the comings and goings of all of this. Sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears. It's very watery. Then at the same time, we've got Lilith in Libra, and this is about balancing, justice and balancing the whole desires, hidden desires. What's going on with the hidden underbelly of vulnerability, power dynamics, sexuality, things that may be repressed, coming to the forefront. And it being done in a very balanced or justice kind of way. So then you take these two in a quincunx, which is about the challenges of bringing these two things through together. And so they may appear, disappear, reappear, go back into hiding again. And this will be doubly so because it is in Pisces. And doubly so because Lilith is like underbelly. It's like, maybe I'm going to show my underbelly. Maybe I won't. These are passions coming to light, vulnerability coming to light, hidden things coming to light. So we literally have three energies going, are we going to come to light or are we not going to come to light? And then look at this. We've got timeline jumping going on. And so there's a lot of, to me, what this is speaking of is there's going to be a lot of things coming to light and then going back into hiding, and then coming into light and then going back into hiding. And then you've got Mercury that's going to want to just punch off about it. And Venus is going, I'm not so certain because I'm reviewing it in this weird, wonky kind of way. Next week is just going to be a very, very interesting week, I believe, of the mask getting revealed and then being unrevealed and then getting revealed again. I believe it's a situation that in one respect, it's going to be very illuminating and moving forward and amazing things happening. And at the same time, a lot of stuff going back into hiding and maybe being really sketchy. So again, it is going to be a week of being really aware of your emotional processing at exchange spaces and making sure you are present even if things are coming and going a lot next week. Okay, and then boom, to top it off at the end of the week, we have a powerful sun trine Mars. And my sheet's pretty darn messy, so I'll just read it to you. So Sun in Pisces trining Mars in Cancer. God, this is about nurturance and aggression. I mean, could things be at more opposite ends? So this is about Sun trining Mars is going to be about facing reality of choices and consequences and or facing the reality of sacrificing nurturance to be able to have choices or action or moving forward. And there could be violence and argument in there as well. So really extreme positions between Sun trining Mars and how that plays out. Okay, so that's what I've got for you this week for forecasting. That's some really juicy, delicious, punchy stuff that we are headed into next week. I mean, total different sea change. It's going to be very interesting, the type of landscape we're going to be walking through. That's what I've got for you this week with forecasting. Definitely be sure to keep moving forward so you can meet those miracles along the way, because there is a lot of miracle stuff in the air at this point that we can catch that wind in our sails right now. All right, I will see you in the next video.